Black Lives Matter. Right. I listened to Bruce Arena's comments. Oh my God. Hey everybody, Mike Guillaume from Sons of a Pitch Soccer Podcast, here to do our first EPL live stream reaction. Nick, how are you doing on this wonderful Saturday morning?
Well, I went to bed early, got a good night's sleep, highly caffeinated already, Mike.
Nice.
And excited to watch some English soccer. Didn't get to see any of the games earlier in this week, but I am ready. Not the biggest Arsenal fan. Let's be honest. I'm not an Arsenal fan at all.
Okay.
So I'm pulling for Brighton in this one. But hey, man, soccer's back. We get to see the Premier League, arguably the top league in the world, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely fun to see the EPL back. I think this is most of all of the leagues now in Europe are back, other than the few that canceled their seasons, like the French, was it Ligue 1 canceled theirs, as well as the Eredivisie. But you know, the rest of them are all back and playing, and it's actually just getting underway now. About 30 seconds into this one, I'm going for Brighton as well because there was a YouTube video talking about their story, which was really really cool. So I'm with them. I'm going for them. But Arsenal, I really know nothing about the Premier League, so you're going to be the point man for this one, Nick. Look at Nick's typing away over there. Who do we got on the live stream? Looks like Rocky's joined us. Hey Rocky, how you doing, man? Oh, it's raining in Portland. Of course it's raining in Portland. Nick, can you hear me? Nick, you there? Nick, you there, buddy? Oh, looks like we've lost Nick. So I will just getting underway. The lineups are Brighton Hove and Albion come out in a 4-2-3-1. They've got Ryan in goal, Byrne, Dunk, Webster, and Scalotto in the back. The two defensive type midfielders are Proper and Bissouma. The three offensive midfielders, Trossard, Gross, and Moy, with the striker Maupay. Then we've got, for Arsenal, they're in a 4-4-2. We've got Leno in goal, Kolsenak, Holding Mustafi and Bellerin across the back. The midfield of Saka, Gundogan, Ceballos, and Pepe. And the two up front are Aubameyang and Lacazette. So two of the two very, very good players there for up top for Arsenal. Two of the better strikers in the world, at least because I've heard their names before. Haven't heard the other guys' names for Brighton. But let me get rid of Nick here and see if I can't bring him back in through a different feed here. Give me 1 second. All right, looks like Nick is having more issues there, so we will get Nick back in a few minutes. Let me put him out of the picture here so that, we can just see my beautiful face. So, anyways, 4 minutes in, I will get this scoreboard started here momentarily. And it's a matter of time before we get to Nick's house and get these issues worked on. But we talked for 30 minutes before this, running the streaming software, and everything came out perfectly fine. There was no issues whatsoever. One point we had a small reconnection issue, but that was it. So that not a big deal there from the quick reconnection issue. But now Nick apparently is offline. But 0-0, Brighton Hove and Albion against Arsenal. The Premier League is back. Earlier today, Leicester City and Watford drew 1-1. Let's see. Looks like Nick is back. So let me... Rocky says, Mike, who is your MLS team again? That is Toronto FC. I am a diehard TFC fan. Started following them back in 2006 when they got a team and went to their first ever training down in Las Palmas Hotel in Fort Lauderdale, actually Sunrise, Florida, back when I had no responsibility. So I'm a diehard TFC fan. Nick, he's just kind of in the realm of no no exact MLS team because he is just, and here he is, he's calling me. Nick, you're back. Oh, man. All right, so now I've got Nick back on the line. Now let me get Nick back into our picture here. And move this around a little bit. Nothing really to talk about in this game so far. We've got the Arsenal is kind of building up possession a little bit. And that is about all. While we're doing this, make sure you subscribe down below. We're doing a 1,000 subscriber challenge, and we've kind of changed it up a little bit due to the issues with the MLS season being pushed back because of coronavirus and the MLS All-Star Game getting canceled. Now it's very, very simple. You subscribe, you're entered into a drawing if we reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the MLS is Back tournament on August 11th to win a $250 gift card. It's just that easy. All you got to do is click a button and you're entered in for a $250 gift card. Can't go wrong there. All right, we've got Nick back here. Sorry for all the technical difficulties, guys. We're getting things hopefully running now more smoother. What's the word for it? I don't even know. But we seem to be back in action here. Nick, how you
Hi.
doing?
Hey, Mike. God, I'm doing better than any of my computer programs right now, I guess. Um, I don't know what the deal is, man. I'm not a tech guy. I went to law school. I don't know any of this stuff. I'm glad you're able to figure a lot of it out for me here.
Tell you, man.
But anyway, we missed a little bit of
We
action
did.
here. Arsenal had a beautiful opportunity, just go begging off the crossbar. It was a great move, and number 77. I haven't associated all their numbers yet with their names,
Saka.
and they Sana
Saka.
Saka. Okay. Um, they replaced all their names with Black Lives Matter for this week's of matches. So I'm gonna have an even hard time figuring out who's who on some of these rosters I'm not familiar with.
Yeah.
But it was a beautiful, beautiful run down the left. Arsenal had the switch, cuts back on his right foot and curls one, hits it off the crossbar. Brighton comes right back down, gets a free kick just outside the 18. Doesn't do much with it, and then doesn't do much on the ensuing corner kick. And now we're right back Arsenal with the corner kick here. So teams are just kind of going back and forth, still kind of feeling each other out. We got Rocky on the chat, an Arsenal fan. I mean, he might have more to say about Arsenal's tactics and style, but I don't see Arsenal getting off to quick starts. And I think if they could do that, and I don't know if it's a matter of preparation from the coaching staff or just the players trying to get up for a game, but if they could get off to some better starts, then they'd probably be sitting a lot higher than ninth in the table. Mike, I know you follow Brighton a little bit. Do you have any takes on how they're going to approach this game or what you expect to see out of them?
The extent of me following Brighton is that if happen to be scrolling through ESPN.com and decide for some odd reason, which happens about once every 3 months, to see what the scores or the table is in the Premier League, I say, "Ooh, look, Brighton's not in relegation." So yeah, that's the extent of really my following. I'm all for Brighton because of their story. A really cool story where this team was like literally at at death's door as a team. They had to win their last game at home, and then they had to stage this like protest and break the grounds and stop the game. Like it was just a crazy story. I put a link in. Put a link down below in the comments for that video that was done by The Guardian. Check it out. It's about 10 minutes long and really cool story. So I'm all about Brighton Hove and Albion for sure based on that, but really don't know much about the team, who their players are. It's just not my league. I follow MLS all day long. I follow a little bit of Serie A, but that's it. So Bundesliga, I'm actually pretty good at the Bundesliga because of all the games that we've been doing. But other than that, I'm not very versed on the Premier League, Nick.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been following Everton pretty loyally for the last 3-4 years at least. I really started getting into the Premier League about a decade ago when I was playing soccer in law school.
Okay.
And there were a couple diehard Chelsea fans, and so of course our law school intramural soccer jersey T-shirts were like the Chelsea crest, but instead of just the lion's paws up, he was holding the scales of justice, because that's what we had to do with everything in law schools. Just throw the scales of justice on it, and now it's cool.
Yeah.
So I've kind of been on and off with the league for the last decade, but the last 3-4 years definitely been into it a lot more. I can see why people argue the league is the best league in the world. It's I think a lot more competitive top to bottom than you'll see in leagues like Serie A, like Bundesliga. Even if it's in La Liga, you got 2 teams, maybe 3 competing. In the Bundesliga, you've got 2, maybe 3 teams competing. Well, at least in the Premier League, you've got like 4 or 5 teams competing every year for the title. But then again, you still see those upsets. You'll still see a team like Bournemouth or West Ham who are sitting 17th and 18th in the table, take some points against a Man U or a Chelsea if those, if they catch them at the right time. If one has a good game, one has a bad team or a bad game. So I think the competitive balance speaks to why the Premier League is a better league to watch and maybe better top to bottom. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, the English teams aren't really winning a lot of international competitions. Obviously, Liverpool winning Champions League last year, I think, would be the exception. But still, I think on the whole, player talent, parity wise, coaching to a certain degree as well. Like I think the Premier League has all those arguments for being the best league in the world right now.
Yeah, that's what I've heard is that it's the best and can't really. There's not many arguments against that. That's for sure. So. This one, a little bit of possession here from Brighton. They've got the ball here in the attacking third. A decent chance coming in off the left-hand side. A shot in, and the keeper has no issues whatsoever on that one. So we got
Brighton building a little bit, coming back now, Mike. Dribbling into the box with the low strike across, but Arsenal's keeper makes a good save just to make sure no rebounds, nothing pops out. So I guess that's Brighton's tactic right now, right?
Yeah.
Get that counter attack, get that quick strike, so Arsenal can't get numbers back.
Right. That's that seems to be the way to go for these underdog teams as well. 21st minute now, 0-0. Oh, Rocky says Leicester City, that magical season. Yes, that was crazy to have a team like that pull off a Premier League victory and championship like that. Really cool to see. Kind of showed the rest of the world that there is some parity in the Premier League, and it's not just the big time clubs that were there.
Yeah, and it's funny. I was just reading an ESPN.com article. It was like a "Where Are They Now" piece of that Leicester team.
Yeah.
Or that Leicester team. Obviously, you still got Jamie Vardy, who is playing very well. I think he still leads the Premier League in goals scored this season. But then, like everyone else on that title team, totally fallen off. Like there are a couple guys that got sold for big money that have totally underperformed, like some of their defenders. Riyad Mahrez is with Man City. I think he's having still a good run. Always a threatening striker. I think he's left-footed. If you get him on that left footer, he's great at just curling stuff in from like 20, 25 yards out. But like other than Vardy and Mahrez, like everyone really, that was like every guy played their best season all at the same time, and coaching wise, it was perfect. I'm trying to remember their coach's name right now for that season, but like none of the guys are really doing anything else. Like you still got Schmeichel, who's the goalkeeper on the team. Vardy is still there with Leicester. Like nobody else is really doing much.
Yeah,
I think there's a guy playing in like the Spanish second division. Like imagine that, like you win a title with Leicester, and then a few years later you're in the Spanish second division.
Yeah, how does that happen? Like how does that happen?
It's been it's crazy. I guess that's soccer, right? I mean, you look at American sports. If you win a title, like you are on like the throne of American sports for whatever it is, and like you're going to get contracts just because you were on that NBA championship team, or hey, maybe you were like the backup linebacker on that Patriots Super Bowl team. So some other team's just going to come and give you a 2-year deal just to see if you still got something. I guess that's not the way it rolls in the world of international soccer here, Mike.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks. We got a water break going on now. So apparently the temperature must be really hot in Brighton, Hove, or Albion. Do we know what is the city that they're actually in? Is it Albion? Is it Brighton?
I don't know. Let me do a little Googling here and see exactly what it is. Even though I studied history in school, I never really figured out how England named all their cities like that. Yeah, there's a town called Brighton, and I wonder if Albion is like a subdivision, or there's a town called Brighton, and right outside is Hove.
Oh, okay.
So there you go.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it.
I think that's it. That's probably as good as I'm gonna get. But hey, we got some comments here on the stream.
Yeah.
Daniel Young, thanks for jumping back, saying he shed some tears when Wolves beat Man City. He loves this sport. Yeah, that's fantastic. I love the sports pain that you can go through. Like, it's not real pain. It's not going to change your life, but it still hurts, and you carry it with you every week. And then you just pray that the next game day changes it, and then you have that joy for one more week.
Right.
So yeah, I feel you with that, Daniel. And HAARS, welcome back. Good to see you again. Great question here, Mike. Would you guys be in favor of a Super League where all the best European teams play in one domestic league? Now, this is a question that's been kicked around by a lot of people. I don't know the practicality of it, but Mike, what do you think? You want a European Super League?
No, not at all. I think that would really dilute the sport, because you would have that one league, but all these other leagues would start to falter, because all of the top teams wouldn't be in these. You got Brighton, Hove, and Albion against Leicester City. I mean, it's just, it would take down the the quality of all the other leagues. I'm not for it. I think we have the Champions League for that, and that's kind of leave it where it is. The Champions League's a good place for that. In that type of idea, you still get those big matchups. You still get the PSGs against the Real Madrids, the
right.
Inter Milans against the Arsenals, the Barcelonas against the whoever. So it's definitely, you're still getting some good quality there. So let's just go with that. That's my answer for that.
Yeah, I'm with you. And you hear it a lot, too, in the American sports landscape in college football, right? Like, let's just make a super college division where you get Ohio State and Michigan, where you get USC and UCLA, where you get Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and then let's just put them in one super conference.
Right.
But then what happens to the rest of college sports? If you were to do the same thing in European soccer, and the Champions League literally becomes its own league year in and year out, the rest of international soccer falls apart, because you're going to lose. No one's going to have an interest other than outside of your own little city or your little team there. Meanwhile, Brighton squandering another corner kick opportunity. You're going to lose interest from your little team there. Is it going to be good competition? Are you going to see the great game every time? Yeah. Hopefully. I mean, if you're going to put all these great teams, put all the money, all the talent, and everything is going to just be in one little spot. And I don't know if it's going to help the sport at all, and I don't know if it's going to help the fan base, because, how excited is a Aston Villa fan going to be, watching Aston Villa play Norwich week in and week out?
Right.
I'm just picking the two bottom teams at the table right now. I think the Champions League would lose its luster if you have a Super League like that.
Totally.
And really, like, how do you decide it? Right? Like, okay, if you took the Champions League this year, what's to say that, Ajax, Daniel Young, your team, I mean, they might be in it one year, they might have a down year. Do you get relegated out of the Champions League? Everyone in America wants Pro Rel in the MLS and Pro Rel for U.S. Soccer. Like, if you were to make a Super League, there's no promotion and relegation, so you have all those issues pop up too. So keep it the way it is, even if it's not a perfect system. I think it's probably the best system we got, and again, it keeps the Champions League special, and it makes teams in their domestic leagues play that little bit harder, maybe, hey, this might be the year. If we just go out and buy that one more player, or if we spend a little bit more this season, we can get to the Champions League. Like, I look at the Greek teams. Here we go. Greek reference number one for me. And then we've got...
It's a little late, man. It's 28th minute right now.
I know, right? The technical difficulties. I'll have to make up for it.
Yeah.
But, like, you look at the Greek teams. The top teams in the Greek league, Olympiakos, Panathinaikos, the guys from my church are going to make sure I say Ike Athens, whether you consider them a top team or not. But they'll never have a chance with the Super League. Like, the best they'd ever get would be a domestic league title. So, right. With the allure of the Champions League, with that carrot out there, they're going to spend more. They're going to do more. Every team is striving to get that Champions League spot, get that TV revenue. It's the other thing.
Right.
You have a Super League. all the TV revenue is going to go to the Super League, and none of the other clubs are going to share in that wealth. So that's kind of my long take on it there, Mike, as we just watch Arsenal and Brighton just kind of knock the ball around and go back and forth. And, we're seeing in the 29th minute here, nothing too much going on right now.
There really haven't been any good chances. Hasn't been a great game of soccer yet, but it's still early. These guys, remember, they just came back. This is the first weekend of soccer for them, so they did play some midweek games or whatever. But we'll give them a few minutes to get acclimated to playing soccer again, even though they played just like 3 days ago. So I don't know why I'm making excuses for people, but hopefully we'll
don't make
see
excuses for professional athletes, Mike.
Right. So hopefully we'll see a little bit more action here as it goes out for a Arsenal throw, and he goes all the way back to his keeper from like the halfway line. It's just not exciting football at all at the moment. So that is that here. Looks like we got our first card of the game on a nasty little sliding tackle there by the Brighton defender. I can't tell what number he is because they're not showing it, and he doesn't have a name because it's Black Lives Matter. Still can't tell. It ends in a 3, so I don't know. But a 33 looks like a pretty bad tackle there from behind on number 19 for Arsenal. I have got to get my rosters back up here so that I can tell who these guys are.
Yeah. Well, the one guy we're not seeing on Arsenal, David Luiz, after his just debacle of a game last week. Red got sent off with a red pretty early on. Man City ended up rolling him 3-0 then. He made a hash of a tackle, gives up a penalty, just poor touches all around, late to the ball. He had maybe one of his worst games possible, or worst games in his career, people were saying. Wow. And they're like, that's the game that washes him up. He's done. Get rid of him. Nobody wants him in Arsenal anymore. We're sick of him, and now we have a good reason to dump him. Which other kind of buzz, because David Luiz is out, people were saying that opens the door for a guy like Socrates Papastathopoulos, Greek reference number 2, to come in and maybe prove himself a little bit more. He's a player for the Greek national team. Maybe he gets a little bit more of a chance with Arsenal. I actually haven't looked at the starting lineups today yet, Mike. We were trying to figure out the computer situation so well. Do you have the lineups? Do you want to tell us a little bit who's out there?
Yeah, so I got the lineups. I ran through it while you were out with your technical difficulties earlier.
Okay, there we go.
But yeah, we've I'll go through them again. We've got for Brighton Hove and Albion a 4-2-3-1. Ryan in goal. Byrne, number 33, who had the yellow card. Dunk, Webster, and Scalotto across the back. Basuma, Proper, Moy, Gross, and Trossard in the midfield, and Maupay up front. For Arsenal, they're in a 4-4-2. Bernard Leno in goal. Kolasinac, Holding, Mustafi, Bellerin across the back. Midfield of Saka, Guendouzi, Ceballos, and Pepe. And then up front, Aubameyang and Lacazette.
That wanted you to go over the lineups is just to hear you pronounce all these guys' names.
You're an ass.
That's really it.
Oh, man. Although I do like number 77, Saka. That's a good one. I like that one.
Nice, easy one.
Since we're watching Saka.
There you go.
It just sounds like a Bostonian with the Saka game.
See, I thought I was the one that made all the bad puns on this show, but apparently you've been saving up for some. There you go.
Yeah. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Still nothing going on in this game. All the play is in the middle third of the pitch. No real chances from either side. The odd corner kick here and there, but a lot of back passing, a lot of just play between the defenders and the defensive midfielders. And every time a team goes forward, it gets intercepted and moved on. So lots of whistles. It's just a very, very choppy game.
Yeah, I'm with you. And you saw right there, right when you thought Brighton might spring another counterattack, the Arsenal defensive midfielder just fouls him, kills the play,
right.
Slows everything back down to a grinding halt. It's just it's not exciting. It's
No,
not exciting soccer right now. Maybe the last 10, 15 minutes of this half will give us a little something more. We
hopefully.
caught the end of Wolverhampton and Leicester. They went 90 minutes scoreless in what looked to be a boring game with maybe a handful of chances. And then in the last 5 minutes of the game, stoppage time, you get 2 goals, ends in 1-1 draw. Like, that's what can happen. And I'm hoping that happens because I'd really like to see some sort of offense here, some sort of scoring, especially out of Arsenal, man. Like, you expect them. They're a team that likes to spend. They've made some really poor spending decisions in the last couple of seasons, but they should be able to score a goal on Brighton in the first half. Is that too much to ask? Am I going out on a limb here?
No.
Am I praying to the wrong soccer gods, Mike? Tell me, what is this?
Yeah, I don't know. It's ugly. At least we've got some questions from Daniel Young. He says, "What is your evaluation of Yankee Stadium as a venue for soccer, MLS, or like a South America European team friendly?" Yankee Stadium. Daniel, I know you're an NYCFC fan, but that stadium is trash. And strictly because of the field dimensions. Not talking about the stadium itself, as far as, I mean, it's an iconic stadium. It's a fairly new stadium. So it's just the fact that the field is so small. It, all right, there is the Frozen now, but I have excellent connection. There is no circle face, no little circle rolling around there. Now I just got to see. Oh, look, there I am on my phone. All right, we're back. Well,
Hey,
I'm back.
look
Nick
at that.
is in through audio. I got rid of his video because apparently that's what's causing the issue, is what it
Jeez,
looks
man,
like.
I knew I never had a face for TV, but I thought I could get away with it on YouTube. But
Damn,
apparently,
even just YouTube. I mean,
Ugh.
it's all right.
Anyway.
Not everybody can be pretty and gorgeous like me. It's fine.
I guess not, man. I gotta go find a sweet baseball cap like yours. I guess maybe that'll help.
Hey, that might help, because then you don't get to see the receding hairline and the baldness going on over here, even though I need another haircut, because I'm okay with being bald. All right, so, guys, if you're still with us, if you can hear Nick talking, please give us a thumbs up or say something in the chat saying you can hear Nick, because I believe you can, but I don't know because I can't. I'm not
Right.
privy to that. So if anybody else
We're not.
is on
I'm
there...
not talking if you want to hear Nick, just if you
Right.
can.
Just if you can, exactly. And 5 minutes of stoppage time in this one, Nick. I mean, it was just a choppy first half of soccer. I mean, it was crap. Lots of injuries, lots of cards, lots of whistles, lots of fouls. Not a lot of chances. And here's at least for Arsenal. Oh, I don't even know who that was in front of goal, but he totally just missed a great chance to put that one through there. So anybody out there, if you can hear Nick talk, let us know in the chat if you can hear Nick. So Nick, I'm going to let you kind of give your thoughts on this first half of action and before halftime.
Well, first half of inaction is a more appropriate name for it. Like, I mean, I haven't looked at the stats. I haven't pulled those up yet, but it looks like most of the possession is in the middle third of the field. Not a lot of attacking type passes and plays. Not a lot of stuff moving forward. I mean, if this were the MLS and we're looking at the Audi Player Index, it'd be very, very poor right now because not a lot of forward play from a lot of players. No real quality scoring opportunities that I can think of, except, Arsenal finally coming alive. They get a couple plays in the 18, right here at the end of the half. So hey, maybe there's a late goal here. Who knows?
Might be. Looks like a nice little back heel there, through ball that just gets cleared out by the Brighton Hove and Albion defender there. So 49th minute. 4th minute of the 5 for stoppage time. Corner kick that the goalkeeper completely misses. Luckily, it gets cleared out to Brighton's defender, but only as far as the midfield for Arsenal. So, again, there's not really a pretty event here. Rocky Audio Bueno, thumbs up. Thank you, Rocky. Appreciate you letting us know. And Daniel's back with us here, talking about how bad Arsenal is and that they should rebuild. And there's a shot from outside the box that goes easily to the keeper for Brighton. As God, can this game please just get to halftime?
Yeah, and the Arsenal rebuild, develop young players comment. I mean, that's great, but I don't. When was the last time Arsenal developed a young player? Again, I don't claim to know everything about Arsenal. Rocky, you're the resident Arsenal fan here. I mean, which one of these guys, like in their starting 11 right now, has really come up through their system? I feel like they've bought a lot of guys. Now, maybe that's not to say they're developing young talent, selling them off in droves so they can go purchase the big name players, but I'm not sure how good Arsenal's academy's reputation is right now.
Yeah, I haven't heard of anybody, but again, I don't really follow it that much, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
So here we are hitting the 5 minutes. Looks like the ref is going to give a chance for the free kick to come in from 45, 50 yards out. Just blow the whistle to halftime, ref.
Yeah. And a quick Google search here just shows that Arsenal coach Michael Arteta brought up, let's see who we got here. Zek Medley is one of their academy products. It looks like they've got a handful of academy products like on the roster right now.
Okay.
But again, as far as guys who are making an impact, I don't know. I'll have to research that a little bit. But they've got a handful of guys. But again, his biggest problem is he's got injuries and red cards, and he's just got to plug and play at some point.
Right. All right. Well, there's the whistle for halftime. So let's take a little break, try and regroup this feed and everything here. I'm gonna go do a little bit of research and see what the heck's going on here. But anyways, I don't think it's something we're gonna fix this episode. But let's take a quick break for halftime and pray. Keep your fingers crossed, however you want to do it, that we have a better second half, both on the tech side here at Sons of a Pitch Soccer, as well as far as the soccer game goes, to be a better game itself. So we'll be back in a few minutes, guys. Hang tight, and we'll chat with you guys very shortly. Is not turned off now. All right, there's my microphone. So we are back now. Arsenal and Brighton Hove Albion. Hopefully, going to give us something exciting to talk about here in the second half, because the first half was trash. So I've got my buddy Nick Pateris on the line, co-host of Sons of a Pitch Soccer Podcast. He is joining through audio only at the moment.
Nick. Hey everybody, good to be back via audio. I know you all miss my beautiful Greek face here. Third Greek mention in this podcast for this episode,
and it had nothing to do with the players.
No, I'm trying to get to 6 mentions. That was the over on it, so we'll hit that
okay.
up.
Yeah.
But yeah, glad to be back, everybody. Let's see if Arsenal can actually generate some offense. We saw pretty clearly that Brighton was content to try and catch a counter and build up if they can. On paper, Arsenal the better team, but we'll see if they can actually make it work. So far, they haven't created but maybe 1 or 2 opportunities. I wouldn't even say any quality opportunities. Mike, what do you expect out of this second half?
I expect to see at least a goal or maybe even a chance. I hope that there's something, to make this game even worth watching. I feel like I have lost an hour out of my life that I will never get back. And I'm about to give up another hour of my life that I'll never get back. So I hope that this is at least somewhat interesting. Um, because it's just constant, turnovers, interceptions, fouls. And as I say that, here comes Arsenal. Finally gets by a diving defender. A shot comes in on the goalie who bobbles it, but at least then covers it up. So maybe this is the start of something good. Arsenal there with a little bit of pressure. I'm hoping that will be that's the case. Something good. Arsenal there.
Here they come right back, and an excellent counterattack. Was that Aubameyang, I think, coming up the left, gets a low hard shot off, but good work on Brighton's keeper to smother it and not prevent the rebound and just block that chance. So I guess that's a good start for Arsenal, right, Mike?
Nick, can you hear me?
I can hear you, buddy.
Okay. I just said the exact same thing you said.
Okay,
I
perfect.
think you're about 30 seconds behind me because I just explained the exact same thing. And then as soon as I was done saying it, you just said the exact stuff. It was pretty funny.
Perfect, perfect.
God.
I'm Googling Premier League substitution rules over here. Sorry, I must have zoned out for a second and muted the feed. Yeah, just like all the other leagues, 5 subs in the Premier League. They can name 9 subs on the roster instead of 7 and can use 5 subs. So there you go on that one, just like some of the other leagues to help ease back in after the pandemic break. Let's see. I'm trying to check to see if they got to do it like the Bundesliga. Yep, but they only have 3 opportunities to make those changes.
Okay.
I don't think halftime counts. So you get your 3 subs during the game, but you can use 2 more at half or do a double sub or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, these rules. I mean, can we just go back to the 3 subs? I mean, let's just that was the rule. That's how these games are played. Either make it 5 subs with no fillers and just 5 straight up substitutions. As the Arsenal player, that just sums up this game, Nick. I don't know who it is. 31 maybe it looks like. Kolsenak, the left back for Arsenal, was just running down the left-hand side, going in on goal, and he got ahead of himself. You know, like when you're running too fast and all of a sudden your balance goes, and then you just fall flat on your face. That's what
my 1-year-old does it all the time. You're telling me Premier League players are doing it too now?
Premier League players are doing it. This is ugly. I can't.
And that's why you need the 5 subs, Mike. These guys don't have legs.
I guess. I mean, but dear God, like it just make, as I was saying, just make it the 5 subs and be at that, or take it back to the 3 and leave it at that. Don't give me this. Well, some have to be made together. Some have to be at halftime. Some have to do this. It's horrible.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, I like it because you're gonna need to sub guys out just to help prevent injury. So I think that's the main thing. It was a safety thing. It's an injury thing. You want to be able to not push a lot of these players hard because they really didn't have full training. At the same time, I can understand the frustration. To me, it seems pretty straightforward though. 3 chances, 5 subs, but I get if you're the coach on the bench and you're like, wait a minute, who do I got left? Who's got to come in? Which guy on the bench am I going to use now? It does add a little bit more to all of that.
Yeah, there's an offside call here. Just barely offside, but offside nonetheless on Arsenal, which went out for a corner, but now will be a free kick for Brighton's keeper.
Nice to see Arsenal pushing it early.
Yeah,
they've gotten some shots off. That offsides call was tight, but offsides. Just looking at the replay, but they're pushing it. They're trying to get that early goal. This is the action we wanted to see from the first half.
Yep, looks like there's going to be a little bit more action as now Brighton gets pushing, tries to send a cross in, but it gets blocked off by the Arsenal player. Number 16, who is holding, the center back holding for Arsenal. So maybe we start to see things open up a little bit more here. We've got a We got Arya, Amiri, Devani. Hello, love your channel, by the way. Who do you think will win? Hey, thanks, Arya, Amiri, Devani. Appreciate you coming on, and thanks for the kind words. For me, I think Arsenal's going to pull this off. They seem to be bringing a little bit of the heat here in the beginning of the second half. A nice through ball that looks like it's onside. The flag has stayed down, and he shoots, and it's in the back of the net. An easy finish. Now, will the flag come up? It looks like maybe the flag has come up afterwards. They're looking at it through VAR. The flag did go up, but it looked onside to me in real time. So he kind of held his run up. Now, let's see the replay here. Oh, man, that's tight. That is tight. And at this angle, you can't really tell because the angle seems to be a little bit, maybe 30 degrees off or so.
That's onside to me, Mike.
It looked onside from that angle, but if you pull that back straight, which obviously VAR has more opportunity, there. But
right.
His foot is maybe offside.
But look at the lines on the pitch.
Right.
And see, I think that's
no goal.
That's
VAR
not the same
says
angle
no goal.
we saw.
Offside.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one there for Arsenal. I thought it looked pretty close, man. I thought it was on in real time, but as you say, his foot was just barely offside. But then again, that's because the guy is moving one way and the other one's moving the other way. Now the keeper for Brighton is down and a yellow card coming out. How many cards is this? I got to see how many cards we're at now.
I think we're at 4, maybe.
It's 4 or 5.
Now, Mike, that brings back the whole discussion, though. How do you feel about using VAR to overturn something that tight? I mean, is it he's offside? Technically, he's offside, or is it was VAR is supposed to be helping out these egregious fouls or these egregious offsides calls and things like that? Because, gosh, that's about as close as you can get.
Yeah, for me, it's there to get the right call. So whatever the right call is, that's what it's there for. Now, me personally, I kind of prefer the aspect of human error. That's kind of what makes sports. And it gives the fans something to bitch about. It gives the fans something to talk about. The teams will feel hard done by if a decision goes against them. So there's, I'm kind of like, leave VAR out of it. Let's just go back to the old days. But that's just me.
Yep. I mean, me being the lawyer, it's hard to say like, well, even if he's technically offsides, like that's not what it's there for. But hey, I argue intent of the law as much as I argue the letter of the law, and in a lot of my cases as well. So, I guess though, when you're playing it, the best way to keep it even across all teams across the league, across the entire 90 minutes of a particular game, is to have it consistent. If he's offsides by an inch, he might as well be offsides by 10 feet. So right. I just give me that consistency. I think that's really what everybody wants with VAR.
Yeah. Hey, and Aria, thanks for the kind words. Make sure you hit subscribe down below so that you don't miss any of our awesome soccer action. We've got our 1,000 subscriber challenge. If we reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the MLS's back tournament on August 11th, 2020, one subscriber will be randomly drawn to win a $250 Visa gift card. So make sure you hit that subscribe button down there and get yourself entered in for a chance at $250. All right, now we've got Brighton coming back here with a chance, and it falls right to him. He takes a shot and a great save by the substitute Arsenal keeper there. It was number 7 for Brighton, who is the striker Maupay. So maybe things are starting to open up here. A little bit more action, a few more chances here for these clubs.
Yeah, and this is what we've wanted, Mike. And I said it at the beginning of the broadcast. I don't see Arsenal as kind of a quick start club, that they usually need some time to get into the game, and I don't see Brighton as having that real bright talent to take advantage of something like that. So I'm glad that we're kind of growing into this game, that we're finally getting some offensive opportunities, and really I'm glad Brighton is testing the Arsenal backup goalkeeper here. I've been reading up a little bit on Leno's injury, Arsenal starting goalkeeper. it looks like it's an ACL. At the very least, it's a knee injury.
Yeah.
When he came down and maybe got clipped or bumped by a Brighton player after jumping up to grab a bouncing ball, he either landed on it funny, and anytime your leg twists, more than likely it's a knee injury. So,
Yeah.
uh, speaking from my brief experience tearing my ACL playing in law school rec league soccer, but all it takes is a twist. Contact, non-contact. You get your weight moving the right way or the wrong way, there it goes.
Yeah, had some stats in this one. We've got 58% possession for Arsenal to 42 for Brighton. Shots total is 6-4 for Arsenal, 2 on goal to 1 for Brighton. So fairly even in this one. And then, of course, yellow cards, we were just talking about it. There's only been 3, apparently. I feel like I've seen 4 or 5, but apparently not. A little bit of news out of Brighton. For MLS wise is the loan for Jurgen Locadia was officially extended by the club today.
Yes.
So Locadia is staying in MLS for at least another 6 months, which is good. A little bit of an opportunity to see what we're working with here, other than the one game from Jurgen Locadia. So that's good news for Cincinnati fans. That's good news for MLS fans. Is he worth the negotiated transfer fee down to $7 million? I can't say right now. If the guy tears up the MLS's back tournament, shows that he's one of the better players in MLS, then maybe. But what are your thoughts on Jurgen Locadia?
So I can tell you what I've been seeing on FC Cincinnati Twitter, and they love this guy. I mean, they were even joking that, like, oh, he's going to win the Golden Boot this season. Don't worry about it. Like, they are in love with Jurgen Locadia, and Locadia has come out saying, I want to stay in Cincinnati. I want to keep playing here. So that seems to me, you got a player who wants to be there. You got a team and a fan base that wants him. Brighton are trying to develop him a little bit. I mean, the guy is only 26.
Right.
So if he has a good year in MLS, they bring him back, and he becomes their starting striker in Brighton. If he has an average year, then maybe they sell him. And he stays in MLS, and Brighton makes a few bucks off the deal. So it seems like everyone is in a good position with this Locadia deal right now. Maybe that's the optimist in me. But for $7 million, Mike, again, let's see what he can do.
Right.
I think before, when he was at a $10 million buyout clause, he would have been one of the most expensive transfers in MLS history to that point. Not just in FC Cincinnati history, but league history. So for a relatively new team to get a player like that, probably too much money. But if he has a good season, you get him down to $7 million, sign him to a DP deal. It might be worth it for Cincinnati. And we all know these expansion teams, if they can't buy a team to start, like Atlanta or LAFC, then you do the Minnesota approach. You get your fan favorites, you pump up the fan base, and then you hopefully get to some guys who can outplay their contracts, maybe like a Jurgen Locadia. So that's kind of my take on it. But hey, as an MLS fan, let's keep him here. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a good player. Just the pedigree that he has for sure, is there. So things kind of slowing down a bit in this one.
Yeah.
Looks like the ball goes out of play now for an Arsenal throw. Looks like we're going to get a substitution for Brighton. Looks like number 40-something, maybe 44,
Yeah.
Aaron Connolly coming into the match, getting his last instructions. There was a substitution for Brighton before. I guess I'm assuming is probably at the half, and that is Aaron Moy, who was on a yellow, was replaced by Solly March. So now it looks like number 22 as well for Brighton looking to come in, Martin Montoya.
Mm-hmm.
So,
by the way, those Brighton warm-ups that they were wearing look like my old AYSO jerseys from like second grade or something like that. A crazy pattern on them. Just keep recycling those designs, man. I don't know. Hey, real quick, and looking at Jurgen Locadia.
Yeah.
He also is, according to Wikipedia, known as a singer and has put out an EP and a few singles. So I wonder how FC Cincinnati, or maybe FC Cincinnati's opponents, will use some of his musical career to support or jeer him.
Yeah, that's I don't know what to say.
right? I mean, I know. So I was down in Illinois for college, and in the fan section there in the basketball game, I mean, everyone found everything to cheer against the other team for, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
there's got to be some Columbus fan who's going to do a cover a Jurgen Locadia track to like rip on Cincinnati. It has to come out.
yeah. I'm sure it will. I am sure it will. 62. All right, now I just looked at our feed, and my scoreboard has not been working for the past 10 minutes. Um, I tell you, Nick, if there's anything else that can go wrong on this feed, it will. Uh, so let me get this reset here. 60. And then, of course, they take the scoreboard off to advertise for Geico. My kids are screaming upstairs. My wife is texting me saying that she's not going to get anything done until I'm done because the kids are being, what's a nice way to put this, jerks. So here is here's the corner from Arsenal. It goes out of play, and actually cleared up, and now Arsenal looking to come back a little bit.
Yeah, let's see. Maybe they can get something going here. I mean, have we talked about the set piece yet, Mike? Am I going to repeat your thing here? I think
Yeah, I
my
did.
broadcast on Hulu is probably 10, 15 seconds behind what you're watching. Again, I've been pretty unimpressed with a lot of the set piece play around international soccer right now, from the Bundesliga to what I've seen on the Premier League here quickly. Like, I feel like teams should probably spend just a little bit more time on set pieces, and maybe with the restart after the pandemic, they just didn't have the time to do it. But I mean, run a play. Like, I mean, even if it's just a basic, like, rub a guy off a defender, play it short on occasion, maybe tactically. Even though I hate playing it short, maybe do it once. I don't know. I just feel like it leaves a lot begging, and maybe that's the '90s U.S. soccer fan in me, where we could not go toe to toe with most of the soccer world, but when it came to set pieces, that was the great equalizer. I don't know how many World Cup qualifying games or international games the U.S. stole a point or maybe squeaked out a last minute win because you had a dude as big as a Gucci Onyewu like coming up on a corner kick and helping convert that into a goal. I just wish you saw a little bit more emphasis on set pieces.
Yeah, agreed. I think that's something that can really help these teams. I mean, that's kind of what some teams are built for. As we speak of that, a chance for Brighton Hove and Albion, their striker Maupay with a nice little footwork in the box, takes a shot, gets deflected out for a corner kick. So another corner for Brighton. I think this is their 8th or ninth corner. So they're definitely putting some pressure on now. Can they make anything out of this? That is the question. Here comes the corner kick now, in swinging, and Arsenal's keeper has no issues with that whatsoever. Jumps up and takes it and tries to get something going on a counter here as he lights up his wing back who goes into the midfield and now continues his run back to him. Now Arsenal in the midfield with a nice pass up to Lacazette, a 1-2, a shot by number 14, and it goes off the keeper with a decent save there. 14, Aubameyang with a nice shot. So that's corner for Arsenal now.
Yeah, I mean, on the Brighton end, it was nice to see their striker, create a little space for himself and get the ball on his preferred left foot. But hope you want to see. I'm going back. I'm going back because I wanted to get this comment in. I'm not purposely screwing this up here, Mike, and reiterating what you said.
I
Don't
just
worry.
read the comment. It's fantastic.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah, Rocky.
Sorry,
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
not laughing at me. Something I'm not used for. Used to. But yeah, it was nice to see the Brighton striker create a little space for himself and maybe get a little bit more confidence as we get into the late stages of this game. So we'll see if that comes to fruition over the next half hour or so. And maybe Arsenal, if they can get a goal, will quash any hope of Brighton pulling the upset off here.
Yeah,
I don't know. Would you consider this an upset if Brighton win at home to Arsenal, who's sitting ninth in the table? Brighton is sitting, what, like 14th or something like that?
I think Brighton's actually ahead of them in the table. To be honest with you,
No, Brighton's 15 and
oh, they are?
Arsenal's 9.
Okay.
At least
Um,
coming into this week.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I would say it's an upset because it's Brighton against Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal's one of the bigger clubs in the world. Brighton, probably, mid-table, trying to, maybe stick in the Premier League. Arsenal's not worried about relegation. So, I don't know. I would consider it an upset, but that's just me.
Yeah. Speaking of the table, so if Arsenal's at ninth, they are 4 points back of sixth place, Sheffield United. That's right, Sheffield
Hey, all
United.
right. There we
New.
go. We finally, I was just about to say it. Please, somebody give us a goal. And there's a
Hey.
goal. Arsenal gets the goal. 1-0 for Arsenal, just as we're talking about. Is this going to be an upset or whatever? May not have to worry about that now. A goal for Arsenal. Pretty little play there.
Woo!
It goes down the right hand side, kind of shoots it, crosses it right into the top corner. The goalkeeper wasn't sure if that was a shot, a cross, but definitely a shot over the extending arm of the keeper. And there is the lead for Arsenal.
Oh man, that was a pretty touch. Like
It
for
was.
him to cut it back on his preferred left foot, it looks like, uh, to be able to pick out that far post and just bend it in around the defender and the goalkeeper. Like that is, I mean, that's clinical. That is technical. That is what. That's a video game type goal. Like
Right.
that was beautiful, Mike. That was a great shot. Who is that? Number 19. What's his
Oh,
name?
it's Pepe. And we have a little water break here again right after the goal. So Pepe is the goal scorer for Arsenal. 1-0. Nicholas Pepe. Hey, all right, Nicholas. There you go, Nick. A
There you
man.
go. His name's Nick, and he's not even Greek.
Yep, there you go. Great finish
And
there from Pepe. I'll call him Pepe, not Nicholas.
that works.
And while we're in this water break, I think it's kind of fitting that if you see right up in the top corner over there, next to the time and the half, we've got Skira Water. That is a new sponsor of ours that has come aboard here for the YouTube side of things for a short period of time. And make sure you can pick it up at any 7-Eleven in the United States. Skyra, Skria, everybody can pronounce it differently. Bottom line is it's a kick-ass bottle with the Northern Lights on it. And go check it out. A high alkaline water, 8%, 8.88%. And go to your local 7-Eleven, pick up some of that water, and there you go. Thanks for sponsoring us here on YouTube. And now back to the game. The water break is over. And what do we got here? Brighton trying to come back. They've got some offensive pressure building up here. Maybe a little bit more possession. This is something you don't want to see from Arsenal. You just take the lead, and it kind of is a sloppy game, and now you're starting to sit back again. That's not a recipe for success, at least
Right.
I would think.
Now you wonder if David Luiz's absence is going to come into play here. I mean, granted he had a terrible game last week. He's not having a good season. I mean, he's getting up there in age a little bit. His prime is definitely behind him.
Yeah.
But he's a guy who's experienced and poised in these situations and can help see the game out. So you wonder if his absence is going to have an effect on Arsenal's defense. It shouldn't. Arsenal is still the better team, at least on paper. That's why you play the 90 minutes. They have a good coach in Arteta, though maybe not as proven or experienced as a lot of people would like. But you know what? They should be able to see this out, assuming they stick to the game plan.
Yeah, I would think so. So it looks like maybe a substitution there as the Brighton player is walking off behind the goal. Arsenal was going to play it short. Now just a little bit of a time-wasting exercise now to send everybody way up the field for the keeper to just boot it out of bounds. Just kind of a waste of time there. He got 20, 30 seconds out of that one. So hoping that Brighton gets something coming back here. Give us some more excitement. That's what I want to see. I want to see some goals. I want to see some good play and whatnot. Hopefully we'll see a little bit more of that pretty goal by Nicholas Pepe.
Pepe, yes. Hey, so Mike, I asked you off air, and I've been trying to give it a little bit more thought. so we can tie this back to kind of our American soccer podcast here.
Yeah.
Do you see any guys in this Brighton Arsenal game, or even throughout the Premier League, maybe you've heard, like, any guys that you could see coming over to MLS? We talked about Jurgen Locadia on loan from Brighton to Cincy, and the possibilities of him eventually getting signed full-time to the MLS squad. Do you think there's anyone, in these lineups here that might jump on over?
I really can't. I can't see any of these guys jumping over. I mean, the only thing that I've seen is it's kind of a joking matter, so to say. But Lacazette for Arsenal, young striker, is good friends with Chris Mavinga for Toronto FC, a center back from Toronto FC, and he'll Mavinga will shoot out some messages and tag Lacazette in them and whatever, and be like, yeah, all right, thanks for signing the contract. Can't wait to have you on the team, and just kind of screwing around with him. So that maybe he comes over one day because he's got that connection to a player in MLS, and I don't know. I mean, I don't see any of these guys. I don't know enough about them to be like, yeah, this guy could play in MLS. This guy might not. I don't see many of them leaving the Premier League, the best league in the world, to go to MLS unless there's either a big hefty paycheck or they're not quite getting the minutes maybe that they would expect to grow. But yeah, that's all I got, man.
Yeah, I haven't really, familiarized myself with a lot of the EPL rosters and seen what guys, could make the jump, or, guys whose values are within MLS teams' budgets. I think you're going to see a lot of the loan type deals. I really hope that you can see some of these English Premier League players get loaned over to MLS squads. Especially you've got the Man City influence in New York, and
Right,
I'm trying to
right.
think if there's any other clubs that have Premier League partners. I feel like Chelsea has jumped in with an MLS franchise and gotten a partnership. Maybe Arsenal even.
Yeah, Arsenal. Speaking of Arsenal, that one is one that I know. There is the owner, Stan Kroenke, the same owner as the Colorado Rapids. He is the owner of Arsenal, so there is that kind of that teamwork, that partnership. I don't even know if I'd call it a partnership, but a slight partnership there with Arsenal and Colorado.
Yeah, so I expect to see maybe one or two, since we were talking earlier about how it's hard for the Premier League to develop.
Oh, that's in. That's in.
What? Oh, gosh, my stupid Hulu broadcast delay. I'm missing it.
Brighton with the goal. Hopefully this will be an exciting last few minutes. The ref's kind of, I think he's waiting on VAR. I don't know. It was a real ugly play. The ball comes across a decent cross across the middle off the corner, the short corner, and was he offside on that one? Then Arsenal plays it back. Then it goes into the net. He clears it out with his hand. Here's
what were we just saying about set pieces? Like, that looked to me like a well-executed set piece.
Yes, it was. Well-rehearsed set piece for sure. Goes to take, that one's clearly over the line. The only question is was number 20 offside when he was making that run in right off the corner?
I mean, it's going to get reviewed.
And they have given the goal. It is official now. It is now 1-1 for Brighton and Arsenal. Dunk with the goal in the 75th minute. That was a nasty challenge there. Nasty challenge. And looks like both guys down on the ground. Now, why will this not show up? There it is. All right, so that's a rough one.
Oh yeah, that's bad. I mean, I feel like that's got to be a yellow to the Arsenal player, because he comes in way late, and you feel bad giving a card to a guy who hurts himself on a play, but I mean, he came in late, cleats up.
Yeah.
Man. But yeah, like we were saying, that was an excellent set piece goal by Brighton. Number 20 for Brighton, who received the short corner. It looked like he had the option, right? Like he got to pick his head up and say, do I play this in, or do I play it back short to the onrushing player from the corner flag. So he made the absolute right choice in that. I'll give Arsenal credit. The defender closed the gap down as quickly as he could, and the Arsenal defenders on the posts of that corner, they sprang out right away to try and draw that player offsides. They did what they needed to do, but it looks like Brighton just executed it that much better. So good goal for Brighton, and let's give us the final 20 minutes of some excitement here while teams try to go for 3 points.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully we got a substitution coming in here, Lacazette, who we were just talking about, who was involved in that little nasty tackle. He comes off for I don't know who. Don't even see a number there yet. Now it looks like they're making multiple substitutions here for Arsenal.
Yeah.
And
hey, like
back
we said,
in play.
Three chances, 5 subs.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's ridiculous.
All right, well, we'll see. Let's see what Arsenal, how do they respond? I mean, we were talking about if their defense is going to be able to see it out. Brighton took advantage of that set piece, and we'll see how they respond. I mean, I've not known Arsenal to be a team who can flip the switch. They're not like a Liverpool or a Chelsea or a Man City who can just be like, all right, we know what works for us. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to our star players. Let's run this kind of set or attack a particular player on the opposing team. I don't know Arsenal to be that kind of team right now. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see what they've got. They've got about 10 to 12 minutes plus stoppage time. A nice long ball there for the substitute, number 30 for Arsenal, who is Edward Nketiah. He comes in down the flank, does some fancy footwork, tries to get a cross off, ends up going back to the middle to the long-haired dude. Looks like David Luiz, but it's not David Luiz. And the goal scorer puts a nice ball into the box, and we've got a corner coming up for Arsenal. Maybe they get some of their set-piece magic now on there. So,
yeah, we'll see here, man. We'll see. It's funny. Rocky mentioned to you on the feed, like, give your kids some Sudafed, let them go to sleep. I'm pretty sure watching Arsenal play is Sudafed for me right now because I'm struggling in the 80th minute here, Mike.
Yeah.
This Arsenal game is not keeping me as interested as I thought it would be. I don't even know what else to say right now other than, hey, good for Brighton. It looks like they're keeping the local banner printers employed by putting in all those giant banners over all
there's a
their
chance.
seats.
Oh, we have a penalty? No penalty. He's giving him.
No
He's
penalty?
calling a dive.
I'm okay with that, Mike.
Yep.
I think the Arsenal player clearly went in to try and draw the foul, not to make a play on the ball. I'm okay with that call.
Yeah, 100%.
Or that no call.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy's
okay,
down
well,
on the
there's a little
ground.
excitement. I woke up a little bit.
Yeah, right.
Hey, man, real quick, while we're still talking some international club soccer here.
Yeah.
How about Napoli bringing home the Coppa Italia?
I didn't even get a chance to watch it, but
sorry to ruin it for you.
No, I wasn't going to watch it.
Come on,
yeah, I wasn't going to watch it. So yeah, Napoli, they took out Inter and then took out Juventus. So a good run there for Napoli to win the Coppa Italia. And anytime Juve loses, that makes me happy as an Inter fan. Same thing with AC Milan. That if they lose, I'm happy.
Nice. Well, I honestly think Napoli has won my Italian fanship now.
Okay.
A few years back, when Everton, my Premier League team, made the Europa League, they were grouped with Napoli, and Napoli went on to win that group. Was it Napoli or was it Atlanta? I forget. Anyway, at that point, I started paying attention to Napoli a little bit, and they've just been getting better and better. I didn't realize that Gonzalo Higuain, Juventus star, came up with Napoli.
Yeah.
And had a couple really. I think he won the Golden Boot with Napoli for a season, or at least
Yeah.
And that really helped solidify Napoli as as a top team in Serie A, and they've just been rolling, man. So I think they got my support.
All right, so there you go. Nick's a Napoli guy. Now, they might actually be playing today. I'm thinking they are, because I think this is the first weekend back for Italy as of right now, because the Coppa Italia, they knocked that out before they started that, where the top headline is Inter title challenge still alive and kicking, says Antonio Conte. No, it's not. So stop trying to tell yourself that. Lazio is the only team, in my opinion, that has a chance to catch Juve. Juve at 63 points and Lazio at 62. Inter down at 54 points, but one game in hand. So even at that, they're still 6 points back if they win that game in hand. So here's a chance for Aubameyang. Takes a shot, gets deflected, and goes out for a corner kick.
Hey, we got a new fan here joining us on our chat here, Mike.
Nice.
Adinem asks us, how about United yesterday? Another clanger. Ole's tactics are abysmal. Hard to disagree at this point, right? Like, Man United definitely not reaching their potential. Where are they in the table? They're at 5th in the table, but you know what? They drop a couple more points, they're going to end up in 7th to 8th place. At least they drew Tottenham to give you to give them a little bit of separation from Tottenham. But you know what? Man U's underperforming.
Oh, a header there and a save.
Oh. The one thing that Ednem does say about this game, about the Brighton game, Maupay is a jerk. He definitely tried to roughhouse Leno. You know what? I'm not going to say roughhouse. He gave him a bump, no doubt about it. He definitely was letting him know he's there. Is he responsible for the injury? Hard to say. And maybe Leno was trying to sell the bump a little more, and that's what got his leg caught under. I don't know.
Could be.
I don't know. But yeah, definitely intentional contact on the part of Maupay. I don't know. Adinem, do you know? Is Maupay is that the kind of player he is? I don't know much about his career.
Yeah, and Adnem there, he let us know Torino and Parma and Hellas Verona against Cagliari today in the restart for Serie A. So he's bringing the knowledge. Make sure you subscribe down below and get involved into our 1,000 subscriber challenge when we reach 1,000. If we reach 1,000 by the end of the MLS's back tournament August 11th, one subscriber will be randomly drawn for a $250 gift card. So Adnem and everybody else that's watching, make sure you hit this subscribe button and get us there, and hopefully get yourself a chance at a $250 gift card. So here's a corner from looks like from Arsenal, or for Brighton, excuse me, and Arsenal clears it out, but Brighton trying to get a little something going, a nice little through ball into the box, a shot that just goes over the keeper's hands and out for a goal kick.
I'm telling you, Mike, there's about 5-7 minutes left this game, and it's finally starting to get picked up.
Yeah. Thank God we got some goals, because it was a rough one to watch. But now we're starting to get a little bit more action here as we go, and should see a decent finish to this one, especially with the 1-1 result at the moment.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's take a look here. Come on, Arsenal, let's push it. Brighton is starting to press a little bit more. They're looking to get that turnover and counterattack. Arsenal doesn't have the time to build up from the back line like they had a little earlier.
Yep, which is what they're doing right now, just passing that ball along the back line. Does Arsenal kind of play for a draw here on the road?
I don't think they can, and I don't think they are. I mean, you're watching Brighton here. They're delaying every restart. It looks like Brighton is content to play for the draw right now. They were pressing Arsenal a little bit, and they still are. We'll see if Arsenal can break out of it. But, I think Brighton is pressing just as a defensive measure, not to try and turn them over and score. Just everything else that I'm seeing, right? Like they're delaying restarts. They still have 4 guys along the back line. If they were really pressing, you'd only play 3 in the back. So I think Brighton's playing for a draw here, Mike, and I think Arsenal can try to take advantage.
All right. And adding him there, he is a New York Red Bulls fan. All right, so we've got a few Red Bulls fans with us. Glad to see you jumping in there. Red Bulls, what are your thoughts on the tournament? You think the Red Bulls have a good chance to get out of the group? What do you think? I think the Red Bulls might be able to make some action happen in that tournament.
I mean, you can never count out the Red Bulls because, as we know with them, the system is their best player. So they can cycle guys in and out and still be that consistent team. It's just, are they going to be able to get the points to get out of that group?
Right.
And I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to remember here who else is in that group with the Red Bulls as I do some hurried Google searching.
Now
As we get
it's
into the
Atlanta
last few
United,
minutes.
FC Cincinnati, and Columbus Crew. So a solid group there. Red Bulls. You in our preview show, you had said that your pick was the Red Bulls to win that group. So
That's right. Thanks for refreshing my memory there. Yeah, if they get a result against Atlanta, then they could win that group much easier. We'll see how Atlanta does.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
My phone's going nuts over here.
Adnan agrees. They can get out of the group, but it's tough. Atlanta, DC, United, and Cincy. I mean, yeah, it's going to be a good one. I mean, the whole MLS is back tournament. People are saying it's fixed because of all the rivalries. But you know what? When the MLS has tried to manufacture rivalries for like every team,
Yeah.
like obviously you're going to get some of that. Like, did you know Chicago has 8 rivals, Mike? And did you know LAFC, only being in the league for 2 seasons, has 14 rivals throughout the league? Did you know that? Yeah. So you're gonna get that. But I'm excited for it. I can't wait. Coming back, what, July 8th? Is that?
Yep, July 8th.
That
So
game?
a couple more weeks. They're heading down for training on the 24th. There's a lot of pushback on it because now apparently Florida is becoming the new hotspot, and I think that's strictly because they open the economy back up. There's way more testing. It's completely voluntary down there. You can literally go and just get a test. You don't have to go to the doctor. You don't have to get a prescription for it. You don't have to show any symptoms. You literally just can go get a test. And so there's obviously a rise in the test there. I think that people are trying to scare it away, the tournament. They want it to get relocated or, to not have it happen at all, which would be a huge mistake. Because look, these guys, there's not much of a risk involved in this. They're being taken care of. There's safety precautions in place, and all these other leagues in Europe are back. Everything else is running. They're playing at their own stadiums. They're not even in a secluded place. So I can't. If this gets pushed back or postponed or whatever, that's going to hurt. But overall, the tournament itself, it's going to be a fun tournament because it's just like a World Cup, right? It's the exact same format, and you're gonna have teams in MLS. The parity that there is, anybody can beat anybody on any certain day. So if a team like Cincinnati, gets into a knockout round game against LAFC in a neutral site with no fans, who knows, man? You never know what can happen. So
Which won't happen because they did break it up east-west. So unless you're picking Cincy and LA to go to the finals, Mike, which I don't think you are.
now, did they make the brackets east-west as well? Because I thought they only did the groups.
I thought that's how the brackets ended up east-west.
As far as the groups, you've got Group A, C, and E are Eastern Conference, and the others are the West. But what's interesting to me though is that they still have not released a schedule yet, other than announcing what teams will play what teams in the 6-team group of Group A. But they have not announced the actual schedule, which is surprising to me because if you put this together, you probably should have had that done by now. But apparently they're doing their thing there. And then as far as the bracket goes, I don't know, or is it going to be the same as a World Cup where you have A1 playing B2? And things like that, because then you would have an Eastern Conference and a Western Conference team going at each other in the first round of the knockout stages.
Yeah,
so
which could be fun.
Right.
It would be fun. It'd be great to see that since they due to the expansion of the league, you're having a lot less interconference East-West matchups. But at the same time, how would you feel having 2 Western Conference teams in the finals or 2 Eastern Conference teams in the finals? I mean, I guess that prevents another Seattle-Toronto matchup, but at the same time, is it fair to the conferences to not give them an equal shot?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I would say just let it play out. The knockout rounds they're using these group games for regular season results. So the knockout round is basically just for fun, and for this Champions League berth and the $1.1 million. But there's no actual like hardcore setup for the season. So let it play out. Let it just be good. You see those interconference games, so be it. Ednam adds in the tough teams in MLS can get through knockout games, no problem, like playoff teams, aka Portland, Red Bull, Seattle, Atlanta. His sleeper for the tournament going to be Minnesota. I agree. Minnesota was on fire before this whole thing started. Luis Amarilla looks to be the real deal. The young striker that nobody had ever heard about, who had a good season in South America, and now he came over here and he's cocky. He says he's going to get 30 goals or 25 or whatever he said he was going to get this season. He's shown up and doing well. We've got about 30 seconds left in this game, 3 minutes of stoppage time. Arsenal just clearing the ball up, and looks like this one's going to end in a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, Arsenal late gasp there off of a corner set piece, and then the rebound, and the loose ball. They're just trying to throw everything back into the box, but couldn't make anything happen of it. Brighton probably just going to see this one out, take the point at home. Interesting though about Minnesota. A lot of people are picking Minnesota to win their group.
Yeah,
but then that's it. So they definitely can make that run, and I think that's a pretty good dark horse pick to win it all. But a lot of people are high on Minnesota, at least coming out of the group. So I'll give them that.
Yep, absolutely. All right, now they've actually upped it to 4 minutes of stoppage time. I've never seen this before. Nick, have you ever seen them say 3 minutes of stoppage time and then change it once it hit 3 minutes and changed it to 4 minutes?
I don't know if that's injury or if that's a sub thing.
The water
that they're just adding extra time.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it where these guys get there'll be a play, a guy's laying down on the ground for 2 minutes, and the ref will just add 2 minutes on in his head and keep the watch going, and do it that way. But they never update it with the board and on the screen. So Rocky says Minnesota is no joke. Agreed. I think Minnesota is going to be good in this tournament and MLS once it comes back, which I'm hoping is immediately after this tournament, because if they don't keep that momentum going, that could be trouble for them. So here comes now that we've hit the 90, we're 94 minutes in. 11 minutes of added time because of injury. Wowzers.
Yeah, he was saying that from the City Arsenal game.
There's a shot from Maupay. Oh, wow.
Wait, was that a last gasp winner?
It sure was.
Oh my gosh,
man.
Mike.
Unbelievable.
Just like the early game, it took all the stoppage time to get the result, but man, I did not see that coming.
Either did I. That one.
Dude, Adonam, how do you feel about Maupay getting the winner after talking about his attitude?
Oh man.
Oh my goodness.
And there's Amiri Davani. Brighton scored. Jesus.
Dude, even their Brighton coaching staff is cracking up.
Yeah.
Like they can't believe that just happened.
Nothing. The keeper comes out to play it quick, and Maupay just slots it over him. And right into the center of the back of the net. Great goal from Maupay. Right. Unbelievable.
Beautiful dummy and a great 1-2 and excellent finish. Yep. I mean, that's oh my gosh. How did Brighton do that?
I don't know. That's a great victory for Brighton in this one, because I would assume this would the ref will just blow the whistle at this point, unless he does give the 11 minutes, because there's a Brighton player just went down. Why, I don't know. But Adnam, he felt the big boy pants energy.
Well, that's the upset, right? That's the upset. We were talking about it. Arsenal's the better team on paper, better team in the standings, all that stuff. Not much of a home field advantage when you take the crowd out of it. Brighton gets the upset.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
not so fast. Here's a corner and they don't let Arsenal take the corner. And then number 29 on Arsenal just grabbed Maupay's neck. And then NBC switches over to a guy from West Ham walking into the stadium against Wolves with their masks on.
I mean, NBC does that. They switch to whatever his live game
Immediately.
feeds as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Um, but oh man, that's insane.
Wow. That is that is interesting. I
Oh,
wish that
now
I.
now the Arsenal, yeah, now the Arsenal players wanna be heard and get all rough and blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
my gosh,
Unbelievable.
Arsenal never continues to, never. I should say never ceases to disappoint. Oh man.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Adnam says, don't condone gambling, but wow, them odds at beginning for BHA home win. Wow, just wow. Yeah, I'm sure they had some decent odds there at home. I'll do the betting on MLS, but I'm not betting on EPL and any of these other leagues. I don't know enough about them. But at least MLS, I'm watching 8 games a week, and I understand all these players, all these teams. So I'll go that route. But overall, man, we're it was a really crappy first 45 to 50 minutes, and then it ended up being quite the game to watch in the second half. Kind of like
Oh,
we
totally.
expected we would see when it was as bad as it was in that first half.
Man, Mike, what a way to end our live for the weekend. That's fantastic. I mean, I got to give thanks to everyone who jumped in. We had a great conversation here at the end with Adonam, and thank you for Aria for jumping on with us as well. Rocky, always a pleasure to have you on.
Absolutely.
Daniel Young, H. Huss, it was great talking with you guys more in the first half. Hey, we didn't see Amador Rojas, but I'll give him a shout out anyway, just to let him know that we're still thinking of him. He usually jumps in
He does.
and is all over the feed. So thank you to everyone else. Thanks to Skyra Water. Go out and get that at your 7-Eleven. We appreciate everyone's support, man. This was fun talking soccer again. Real quick, we had a question about whether or not we do this all the time. We do this different leagues, but Adnam, yeah, we try to do a live every weekend, and with MLS coming back, we'll probably be doing a lot more. Even if it's just Mike hanging out, we'll be doing it.
Yep, absolutely. It's funny. We actually didn't get a chance to do any MLS games, before the coronavirus break. I did a test for that last game. There it was New York City FC against Toronto FC, and I did a test on my personal account to see how it would work. And then coronavirus came, and we've done some Liga MX games, we've done some Bundesliga games, we've done some Australian League games in the middle of the night. I mean, just anything to talk some soccer. But we will be doing more once MLS is back. I'm sure I'll be doing, God, probably way too much. My wife probably won't be happy about it. But, it is what it is. Thanks, everybody, for joining. H. Huss, Adnam, Area, Rocky, all you guys. Appreciate the conversation. And we will talk to you guys very soon. We'll be doing our regular recording on Monday night. Hopefully we'll figure out all these tech issues before then. And we'll go from there. So God bless everybody. Have a good rest of your weekend. Enjoy Father's Day to the fathers out there.
Happy Father's Day, Mike.
Yeah, happy Father's Day, Nick, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I know Rocky talks about his daughter a lot, so happy Father's Day, Rocky, and to everybody else out there. Fun stuff. So here we go. Let's end this one, and we're signing off, and we will talk to you guys very, very soon.